Welcome to a new drawing video blog for the channel. Well, a quiet drawing session in my most personal artistic style. Today, I'm doing some concept art for one of my comics. Normally, I tend to show more of the process of my other graphic novel that I'm developing on the channel. It's a big project that I'm currently immersed in. Well, actually, over the last few months, I've been posting a variety of videos on the channel related to popular culture, history, nature, and drawing, of course, like travel journals or sketchbooks. The graphic novel I'm developing is very different from this other comic I'm going to draw today. In fact, we can call it today's graphic novel B, while the another one in my previous videos would be graphic novel A. This graphic novel A is in its final stage of development, that is, in full production of final art on its pages. Its art is more cartoonish and in black and white, although the story is quite mature and profound, a story related to art and cinema. However, this graphic novel B is very different. It is actually very colorful and exotic in its design. Both novels are fully scripted, but in today's, I still need to do a lot of design work in terms of main characters, props, vehicles, locations, and etc. It is a story that begins World War II, with the protagonist being a US Navy pilot during the Pacific War, between the US and the then declining Japanese Empire. Declining because its downfall was near, of course. Although at that time no one could have known anything about that. It's incredible how time works. We can do an imaginative exercise even knowing how the story ends, taking ourselves back in time, ignoring the outcome, and motivating ourselves with a promising beginning for both sides. And thus, enjoy a great story like children on Christmas Eve. That is undoubtedly the magic of stories, and in this case, of comics, or rather, graphic novels. So today, I am designing the protagonists playing during today's session, a World War II fighter that gained quite a bit of relevance and market share during those crazy years. The chance bought F4U-1D Corsair. It's incredible, but drawing this type of vehicle is more complicated than it seems. The dimensions and perspective were what concerned me the most. I wanted to achieve a solid structure that worked well. When I sketched the plane during the storyboard, well, it was a disaster. But it was a sketch. It did its job. I mean, the point was that the drawing worked for the development of the visual narrative and so on. So I thought I would worry about the final design later, and that day is today. Later came and I had to design the little plane. And the funny thing is that it took me quite a few hours to get everything to work properly. I was less concerned about the color since in a way it's the part of the drawing that I enjoy the most and where I always feel I have the most control. I started with basic chiaroscuro mapping, like inking or watercolor. And from there to a more impressionistic, colorful, or digital oil style. Whatever you want to call it, they're just words. In fact, in art, silence and drawing are more important. Much more than words, tiresome discourse, and ego. And on this channel, we are bored by ego and its childish egocentrism. So, without further ado, I leave you in silence with the rest of my drawing. Relax as you look at it and enjoy it until the end, calmly. Oh, and subscribe and like to help this artist, because of the ego and all of that.